When you learn to love yourself without feeling selfish. Maybe you've been told before, don't be so selfish. Whenever you said no, whenever you chose rest over another round of overwork. Society has taught us that loving ourselves means being selfish, that to be good we must always give, always please, always endure. But the truth is, if you keep living to please everyone else, you'll be the one who ends up empty. Have you noticed how easily we forgive others, but not ourselves? When someone else makes a mistake, we say, it's okay. But when it's us, we replay it in our head 100 times. We call ourselves names. We tell ourselves we're not enough. We keep thinking, if only I were better, maybe I'd deserve love. But real love from anyone, especially from yourself, should never come with conditions. Loving yourself doesn't mean ignoring your responsibilities or pretending everything is fine. It means treating yourself kindly, even when you're not perfect. It's choosing to speak to yourself like someone you care about instead of someone you're trying to fix. If your closest friend came to you saying they were tired, lost, or failing, you wouldn't say, "Why are you so weak?" You'd probably say, "It's okay. Rest a little. You're doing your best." So why is it so hard to say that to yourself? Why do we believe compassion is something we owe everyone except ourselves? To love yourself is to learn to say no to what drains you, to realize that your worth doesn't depend on how useful or likable you are, to leave spaces and people that make you feel small, even if it means being alone for a while, to find peace in your own company. You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't love someone fully if you don't know how to love yourself first. Sometimes self-love looks like doing nothing, like turning off your phone, like saying, "I can't help right now." That isn't selfish, it's healthy. It's how you protect your energy, your boundaries, your peace. Self-love can be hard, especially if you grew up being praised for self-sacrifice. When you stop overgiving, some people won't like it. They'll say, "You've changed." And they're right, you have. You're changing into someone who values themselves. Someone who no longer depends on validation to feel worthy. Someone who understands that love isn't about losing yourself. One day, you'll realize you don't need to earn love. You don't need to achieve anything to be enough. You are already worthy simply because you exist. And when you truly love yourself, you'll love others more softly too, not from need, but from abundance. Loving yourself isn't about putting yourself above others. It's about seeing yourself as equal, not less, not more. It's knowing that you too deserve care, attention, and rest. So if today you're tired from trying to please everyone, stop, breathe. You don't owe anyone perfection. You only owe yourself kindness, forgiveness, and a little bit of peace. Remember, loving yourself is not selfish. It's the foundation of everything good. One day, you'll look back and realize choosing yourself was the most loving thing you ever did. When you choose peace over being right, there are times in life when you're not exhausted by work or by what's happening around you, but by the need to be right, the need to prove yourself, to show that you were misunderstood, that you were treated unfairly, that you deserve to be seen. You argue, you explain, you try to make people understand, and yet you end up feeling drained. Because the more you try to be right, the further you drift from something far more precious, your peace. Eventually, you'll realize that not everything needs to be corrected, and not every truth needs to be told. Some arguments never end because both sides believe they're right. Some people will never understand, not because you didn't explain well enough, but because they're not ready to see, and that's okay. Choosing peace doesn't mean giving up. It means you've grown enough to stop needing to win every fight. Peace isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's when you learn that being at peace is sometimes more important than being right. It's when you no longer let your inner calm be traded for external validation. And it's when you understand silence isn't surrender, it's strength. Yes, there will be times when staying quiet feels unfair. When you're misunderstood or mistreated, silence can feel like defeat. But sometimes, silence is the loudest answer. Because when you stop explaining yourself, you give yourself freedom. Freedom from judgment, from expectation, from the exhausting need to be understood. When you choose peace, you realize life isn't about winning arguments. It's about protecting your heart. You don't need to be right in everyone's eyes. You just need to live true to your own. You choose happiness over pride, letting go over holding on, and softness over bitterness. And maybe some will still think you're wrong, that's fine. As long as you know your truth, that's enough. Peace doesn't mean everything around you is calm. It means you no longer let the chaos around you disturb the calm within you. So, if today you feel tired of explaining, of proving, of defending, pause for a moment. Breathe. Ask yourself, what am I losing by needing to be right? If it costs you your peace, then maybe it's not worth it. Because peace, true peace, is the most valuable victory you'll ever have. And one day, you'll look back and realize, when you stopped needing to be right, you finally started to be free. When you stop seeking validation. Have you ever felt like you're living just to be seen? As if every effort, every step you take needs to be noticed, praised, approved? Whether it's at work, school, or in your relationships, there's that quiet hope that someone will say, you did well. But sometimes, no one says anything. No applause, no recognition, no glance of appreciation, and then you start to question yourself, am I not good enough? Am I invisible? Validation is such a human need. We all want to be seen, heard, acknowledged, to know that our existence matters. But when your sense of worth depends on others seeing you, you hand over your peace. Their approval becomes your air, and when it's gone, you suffocate. Slowly, you start shaping yourself to fit their expectations until you no longer recognize who you were in the first place. But one day, you'll realize something: no matter how hard you try, you'll never please everyone. There will always be someone who thinks you're not enough, someone who misunderstands you, and that's okay. Because your worth was never meant to be measured by applause. It's measured by your heart, how you live, how you show up, and how you choose kindness even when no one's watching. Learning to stop seeking validation doesn't mean you become distant or uncaring. It means you've learned to validate yourself first. You look back at your journey, at the quiet battles you fought, and you whisper to yourself, I'm proud of me. The greatest validation doesn't always come from the crowd. It comes from those quiet moments at night when you look at yourself and realize you didn't give up, you stayed. You kept going even when no one clapped. You chose to live truthfully, to do what brings you peace, to be your own reason to keep believing. And strangely, when you stop chasing validation, you start being seen. Not because you're trying to shine, but because authenticity has its own quiet light. You become grounded, peaceful, and whole. So today, if you feel unseen or unappreciated, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, if no one recognized me, would I still know my worth? If your answer is yes, then you've already healed more than you realize. You don't need to be loved by everyone. You just need to love yourself enough to stay standing, even when others walk away. Remember, you never needed someone else to tell you that you're worthy. You always have been, simply by being you. Tonight, take a moment, not to achieve, not to prove, but to just be. To look at how far you've come and whisper softly, I'm enough. Because the moment you stop seeking validation, that's the moment you become free. when you dare to begin again, even while you're still afraid. Maybe all of us will face that moment when everything seems to have fallen apart, when what we once held dear slips through our hands and we no longer know where to start. It's terrifying, isn't it? Not just because you have to start over, but because this time you already know what loss feels like. You've felt the sting of misplaced trust, the exhaustion of giving your all and still falling short. And so, even the thought of starting again feels too heavy to carry. But then, one day, maybe on a quiet morning or a rainy night, you suddenly feel that tiny spark inside you again. A whisper saying, maybe, just one more time. You don't start over because you're certain things will be better this time. You start again because you refuse to stay stuck in the place that broke you. You start again not to prove something, but to keep living, to love again, to believe again, even just a little. Starting over doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It means carrying the lessons, not the pain. It means knowing the difference between being strong and pretending to be okay. It means walking slowly, gently, with a heart that finally knows how to hold itself. No one teaches us how to begin again after we've been shattered. No one tells us that there will still be days we feel tired, or sad, or lost. But even then, you're still moving forward slowly, quietly, but truthfully. And that, in itself, is courage. If you're still scared, still unsure, that's okay. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to move anyway, even while trembling. Even if all you can manage is one small step, that's still a beginning. And this time, you don't have to force yourself to be strong. Because now, you understand that being gentle with yourself is its own kind of strength. And one day, you'll look back and smile softly, realizing, I actually did it. Not because you never fell, but because you stood up again. Not because the fear disappeared, but because you chose to walk anyway, scared, broken, but honest. And maybe this time, it won't be perfect, but it will be real. And so will you.